Hey guys, welcome to part 2. So, postpartum recovery. Wow. Not a lot of people speak about postpartum and what goes on after you've had a baby. I've seen so many videos and programs on pregnancy and on labour, but I've not really heard much about postpartum. So, everything that happened after I had Olivia was a massive shock to me. It probably would have been less of a shock if I knew what to expect. However, that was not the case. So I'm literally going to start from the moment Olivia was born. So as I said, she was placed on my chest, and then I think it was like a couple of minutes after she had been there, they asked me if I wanted to try breastfeeding or if I was giving her formula, and I've always said that I want to try breastfeeding, and if that doesn't work out then she can have formula. So they showed me what to do and how to hold her, and how to get into place to try and give her my milk. I probably did it for a couple of seconds. She did latch, but because I was so exhausted and I actually felt a bit rough, and not only that, I was desperate for KJ to hold her, because I know I gave birth to her, but I'm like, well, I've had her for 9 months. I've got her straight away as soon as she's born, and he's not even got a chance yet. And normally they're on mum for quite a while, and I don't know why, but that just makes me feel really bad. So I was like, no, give her to KJ. So they did. And I felt bad because I feel like I didn't want her on me because I felt so crap, and that made me, the mum guilt kind of like started there, and I was having pains in my tummy. They sorted me out and injected me in the leg to get my placenta out. They had to give me a couple of stitches because Olivia did tear me a little bit, but they was only slight tears. So they had to do that, and then after a little while they said as soon as you feel like you can get up and walk, because it takes a little while for the epidural to like kind of wear off. So as soon as I was able, I went and did a urine sample, because they just have to check you over to make sure you're okay and you can leave the delivery room to go up to the ward. When I was ready, they come back in and got me a wheelchair. KJ got all the stuff, and then we headed up to the ward. And we had to stay in for at least 12 hours. Olivia had to be monitored because she pooed in me. So we got up there, we tried to catch up on sleep whilst being in and out of sleep and not really having an actual proper sleep, because it's a hospital, it's not your home, it's not comfy, it's not where you feel most calm and relaxed. Not only that, we're having to feed Olivia now, and that's very unpredictable when you first have a baby. I'm still having pains in my stomach, and I'm like a little bit scared because I'm thinking I don't want that contraction type of pain to come back, and I felt like that's what was going to happen because it's like I was a bit traumatized from the amount of pain I was in. So I was a bit scared about that. And then I had massive headache. I was kind of a little bit dizzy as well, and I was still a little bit numb on my legs because of the epidural hadn't completely worn off yet. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know whether it was baby blues or just the fact that loads of things had happened, but you know that feeling that everyone describes when you have a baby, like when they come out you feel like so overwhelmed, and like you've never felt love like it, and you look at your partner and you love them even more because you've created this child together and all this, that and the other. I didn't have that. Yes, I cried when Olivia came out, but I didn't have that overwhelming feeling. Even when you like look at your parents and think, oh my god, I now know how you feel, like because you've got your own child. I didn't have any of that, and I felt like I will care for her and I do love her, but I don't have that overwhelming love feeling that everyone talks about. So I was like really confused, and then I told KJ and he was a bit concerned about it. But anyway, the time went on and KJ and Olivia was asleep, and they kept coming around and doing checks on Olivia. They had to check her temperature, and just check her over in general to make sure that she was okay. So while all that was going on and they was both settled, I went and got in the shower. Before I carry on, I think Olivia's waking up, so I'm gonna have to go and get her. You're gonna say hello, look. Olivia, look, what's that? You be a good girl. Yeah, I nearly forgot where I was then. So after all of that, I went and got in the shower. I didn't wash my hair or anything, but I just wanted to freshen up and see if that would help, because normally a shower when I'm poorly or don't feel right, it helps a lot. So I went and did that, got into some fresh pajamas and just got comfy basically, and that did help a lot. So I finally felt a little bit more comfortable and everything, and I hadn't had anything to eat. Well, saying that, I just have to inject. I did have something to eat. I had some toast that the hospital made me before we went up to the ward. I don't know whether it's because you had a baby and you've just gone through all what you've been through, but my God, that toast that they gave me after I had Olivia was the best toast I've ever tasted. Like, I've made toast here since I've had Olivia, and it just doesn't taste the same. So I do think it's because you've had a baby. Let me know if you feel the same after you've had a baby about the toast, because I swear it's not just me. Anyway, back to the story. Apart from that, we hadn't had anything else proper to eat or drink really. So I was like, do you know what? Why don't we order McDonald's to the hospital? Which is what we did. But all this time, you got to think, like, I was in the hospital and not being able to move for ages. And I got up to do something and I felt dizzy again. I didn't feel right. So I laid back down on the bed, and when the McDonald's come, I probably only had a little bit of it, and so did KJ. And I was like, I can't eat it. It's not even the greatest food to kind of order. You want like something like a home comfort kind of meal. Olivia had been all checked over, and they checked me over as well, my blood pressure and that. And then I went to the toilet, and then it started to sting, like quite bad. I was like, wow, okay. I wasn't expecting all of this. Like, everything that I was feeling after I had Olivia, I just weren't expecting any of it. Because in my mind, I just thought the tough part and everything that I have to go through is just to get Olivia out. I thought as soon as I had her that, you know, the epidural and everything like that would wear off, and I'd basically be back to myself, my normal self. I wouldn't have no pain. You were right there, chicken. I wouldn't have no pain, and I'd just be fine to walk about. I'd be absolutely loving life. However, that was not the case. I was using a peri bowl, which it sprays water out, so when you go to the toilet, it helps with the stinging. Obviously, I was still bleeding as well. I just pushed the baby out. I wasn't expecting to bleed as much as what I did, but it wasn't a bad amount though. After Olivia's 12 hours of monitoring had finished, we then said, are we able to go home, but you have to be discharged by the doctor. And they literally had one doctor for loads of wards, including the emergency one. And I think it was like 8 o'clock at this point, and they said as soon as the doctor's available, I'll get him to come around so they can let you go home. I was like, okay, that would be great. The doctor didn't end up seeing us until 1 something in the morning, because the midwife said the doctor is coming. If you still want to go home, you can. When the doctor's seen you and discharged you, you can. But you can also stay until tomorrow, like, so it's during the day rather than leaving like really early hours in the morning. But I was like, no, get me out of this hospital. Not because the hospital wasn't great. I just felt a bit anxious and I just wanted to be in my home, like, and be comfy. She was really unsettled as well. We couldn't sleep properly or anything anyway. So we did all that, got home, and everyone was a bit more settled, and she didn't really wake up that much then. She obviously would have sensed that me and KJ was a bit unsettled, so therefore she was too. And she's eating my thumb. So I'd say the first 2 weeks after Olivia were a little bit painful. which is the massive part that I wasn't expecting, which kind of shocked me. I kept bleeding, and I think the bleeding actually lasts for like 3 weeks, which looking back now wasn't actually that bad, but it was more bad when you're in the moment. It always is. And because I had stitches, and because of the stitches, I was really stinging when I went to the toilet, like really bad, and it was so sore even to sit down. So what I had to do was get flannels and rinse them underneath the cold water and just keep them in the incontinence pants. And that kind of soothed it. So this is what happens when you try and film a video and you're home alone. So yeah, like I said, the bleeding kind of lasted about 3 weeks, and then it stopped, which was a massive relief for me. But the pain actually stopped, I think it was about a week. I was quite happy about that as well. I said that I didn't get the overwhelming feeling that everyone talks about when you have a baby. I think it was about a couple of days after I had Olivia. I literally had her on me and I was singing to her, and then I just started to cry because that feeling then came then, and I was just like overwhelmed, emotional, and really happy. And I was even more happy the fact that I was feeling that way, because I just thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't have that feeling straight away. So I don't know if it was baby blues or if it was just a normal thing that people feel after they've had a kid. So yeah. And then I thought everything was all over and done with, and I recovered quite well and quite quickly. I think it was like maybe about 2.5 months later, I thought I then started my period. I'm still not sure whether it was or not, but it was like lasting about a month, and I didn't think that was normal. So I asked a couple of other mums that had just had their babies, and they said, yeah, it's not normal to be bleeding for like a month. And I then got a bit of like itchiness and soreness and stinging when I went to the toilet to go for a wee. So I ended up going to the hospital, and they checked me over and everything and discovered that I had a water infection, and I also had thrush. So they sorted me right out with all of that, and I think that was about a month ago now, and I've literally not had anything else. So I feel like I can say that my postpartum recovery is all completely done, and I'm back to normal. Well, not my normal self before I was pregnant, obviously, because you change, but as normal as I can be as a mum. So that's basically my postpartum story. Like I said, it was just a massive shock, and I think it seemed worse for me because I wasn't expecting any of it, and I just thought that I'd be back to normal as soon as I had Olivia. But you know, if there's more videos out there that explain how postpartum can be, then the more people are aware when they're pregnant and have had a child, that they know what to expect roughly. I mean, like I said, everyone's experience is going to be different to everyone else's, because nothing is ever the same. But yeah, I'm very happy with my little family now, and I know what more to expect when I have another baby, because everything that I've been through, I would still 100% do it all over again, because some of the stuff when I was pregnant, I can't even remember. Like, I can't remember what Olivia's kicks felt like and certain things like that. I can't even remember the exact feeling of the contractions that I was having, which is mind-blowing considering how painful they were and traumatic. But I guess that's just how it works when people say they literally can't remember and they forget about the whole experience because they've got their little baby and they're just their world. I actually get that now. But yeah, it's mad what children do. But yeah, that's it for these stories and videos. I hope you enjoyed them and got something from it. Maybe it made you a little bit less anxious. Hopefully it helps someone. I know if I watched a video like this, it would have helped me. But yeah, I'll see you soon with another video. Bye. Say bye-bye, Olivia.